Welcome to Pretty Lies and Ugly Truths, where you can either die with the lie or
the truth will set you free.
And I am the Alex E. Miller, and that lovely voice of reason that you just heard was
Toya Vegan Mamiana.
And as we always do here on Pretty Lies and Ugly Truths, we allow the guests to introduce themselves. So treat it like the first day of school, first day on the job. Whatever we don't know, we need to know what we should know. Whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
Cool. My name is Dawl, and I'm an entrepreneur, I guess. I run a couple different businesses. I just be out here doing a bunch of different types of things. So.
Right. Wherever the wind takes you.
Really, truly,
right.
Honestly.
That's the way to
honestly.
go. Yeah. It's best not to fight against the current. Gotta go with it.
I go with it. That's what I learned. I'm like, I feel like I learned that young too, because I'm like, I tried to do what other people were doing, and I'm like, this is just not
mine. It ain't working. It ain't for
me.
Yeah. I feel you on it.
So out of all those different things that you do a bunch of different things. What would you say, because I've heard you mention before that, sometimes it can be tough juggling things. What is, the first thing that you did, and what's the most recent thing that you've added?
I would say the first thing that I was really known for was DJing.
Okay.
I've been DJing in Florida for 8 years.
Okay.
So that was the first thing that really introduced me to the whole culture and wanting to throw shows and host events and stuff like that. Let me turn this off. And then most recently, since quarantine and everything, I've had to figure a way to be productive and creative. So I started making jewelry, and now that's kind of taking off, which is cool because I've never done anything really with my hands before. And I did it because I was truly bored. I was I'm going to try wrapping crystals because I have so many. And they came out dope, dropped a little collection. Now people are hitting me up every day, when's the next collection? When can I get some? I'm like, damn, this is crazy. This is amazing. So
that's what's up.
Sweet.
I'm grateful because it's really hard to be a creative and not to have a creative outlet because of quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
It was really hard for me because I never I didn't know what it was like to not be on stage or be performing or be in that way because I didn't realize how therapeutic it really was. And then when I'm home and I can't do much, I was like, damn, I need to figure out where to put all this energy because live stream DJing is not the same as going somewhere live and having the interaction with people.
Right.
So yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
So you say you got a lot of crystals. What is your favorite one? What's your one
favorite crystal? Well, that's a good question. So crazy because I literally don't even have my own necklace because I was just in LA. And everything that I had, I ended up giving away because everyone's like, oh, yo, that's dope. I'm just like, yeah, you can have it.
Right.
But it's I really love amethyst. Obviously, that's a very popular crystal.
Yeah.
I love selenite. I keep selenite in my bed. I keep a lot of selenite around. It's a very purifying.
That's my favorite, and amethyst is my crystal.
Yeah.
That's
okay, so you're an Aquarius.
Actually, yeah, I got my necklace.
Period. Yes.
I usually have my crystals on my table, but they're in my room right now. So.
Yes, I love it. Yes, honestly, it really does hold energy, So
yeah.
I have so many, and through this process, I found so many more because now I'm hunting for these one-of-one crystals online to make jewelry with because I want it to be one-of-one piece.
Yeah.
I found some crazy I actually have one. Hold on. I just ordered one from Australia, and it's literally it was a $40 piece, which is a lot for a little crystal, but I have to have it.
Yeah, you know how that is though,
Right. It's
so
crazy.
Yeah, no, that's definitely. I mean, yeah, I can understand.
It's 4 weeks to get here, and it has a texture of the ocean. So I'm I don't know where.
What?
It's so crazy.
I want to touch it so bad.
Right. It's a very different. I don't know. It feels like coral reef.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that is so pretty. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I love that one. That's dope. I might have to make it.
I had to. Girl, she hit me up for a custom.
Are you making crystal necklaces?
Oh, it cut out. Yes, I really wish I have a site. I can send you the link, but they
Okay,
all,
yeah.
yeah, I like did like a little selection, and yeah, they all sold out like in 45 minutes, which for me, I was like
What?
shocked because I'm like, but
That's
they
crazy.
they do look very like, I guess they don't look like most crystals that are wrapped, you know, because
Right, right.
I glued a lot of like Swarovski crystals to the crystal and like each
Oh,
one,
that's dope.
they're cute. They're
I
really
gotta get me one made from you. Like
cute too.
seriously, I got
Yes.
to.
Let
That'll
me
be
know.
dope.
I'll make you guys something cute for having me on the show for real.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just
Appreciate
got
that.
so excited. My bad.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Yes, you know,
Coming
it's
up.
spreading the
So
healing.
how she spoke on the crystal that she was into, you knew exactly what her sign was, right? If you
Yeah.
wouldn't mind just kind of break down a little bit of like what the crystals mean, and
There's so many.
yeah, and somebody's sign,
Yeah.
like why it may be important to have the crystal that aligns with your sign and stuff like that for people who might
Yeah.
not necessarily be into that kind of simplified
Yeah.
form.
I mean, you know, I feel like it really just depends on the person because you could go to a crystal store. There's so many crystals, and I always say, you know, find something that really speaks to you, and like it really, you might not even know why, but sometimes I think that's more fun to like grab something that speaks to you, write
Yeah.
down the name of the crystal, and then research and be like, wow, this is profound. Like maybe I didn't even know that I needed this energy. For
Right.
me, like I need a lot of hematite, which is like kind of this shiny one right here. It's
Yeah,
like,
I have a whole one full of that. Just
yes,
yeah.
it's so good for grounding because I spend so much time just like in my mind and just like
Yes.
thinking and meditating, which
Yes.
is good, like very grounding, but sometimes it can be very like astral. So I have to be like,
Yes. The
wow,
chills on my body right now are like hurting me.
they're slapping me. Yes.
I'm like, oh, this is just speaking to my whole soul right now.
So you don't necessarily have to get the crystals that are like a direct correlation with your sign. You could be somebody. Is the reason you saying that because somebody have like multiple signs? Because like I did my birth chart like years ago, and then I had misplaced it. So right before we got on, I was like, let me do it again. You know what I'm saying? So that way I already know, what mine is set like when we're talking to you. Because I feel like maybe it could be our rising sign, a moon sign that we might not align with that crystal.
Right.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, and ultimately we're all a piece of every sign. I really feel like there's something in every sign that we can learn. That's how you like learn from people and like like I'm trying to think of a sign that has a bad rep. Scorpios have a bad rep.
They do.
But I personally I have amazing Scorpio women friends. So I think it really just depends on like the person and maybe what you're meant to learn in this life. And a lot of the time, the things that you really like see in people and you're like, oh, I hate that about that person. That's a really big lesson for you to learn something about yourself. And, and I feel like with any crystal too, it's like, that's why I'm always, when people like, if let's say I have like 5 bracelets on each arm. And if someone really is like, wow, like I love that bracelet, in my mind, I'm like, this is for them. Like this has already done what it did for me.
Wow.
And so it's just an ever evolving, like revolving door of like, I'm constantly getting bracelets and they're never, I don't think I have not one bracelet that's lasted me a year because I'm always like gifting, but it's because they serve their purpose and then you move on.
Yeah, you're giving back as you take in. You're giving. Yeah, that's important.
It's a very important lesson I learned just in general last 2 years. Just like I used to think I had to hold on to stuff, and people and friendships and situations and clothes and just so many things, thoughts, states of mind. And I really realized, it's like I had to let a lot of that shit go because it doesn't serve me anymore. And when I like let go of those friendships and things that I thought like I had to hold on to have these things, like I realized how much more free I became and how many more evolved blessings came because I'm changing. So the blessings changed. And I was like, yo, like it really helped me just be more minimal because I was used to be one of those people with like crazy thousands of pictures everywhere on the walls and like crazy ass closet and hella shoes and jewelry.
Yeah.
It was holding me down.
Yeah. So, that's dope.
Yeah, it was
that's awesome just to get to like talk to someone that's actually in that state of mind and like just knowing self, you know what I mean? Because there's just a lot of us are just out here like not at all. Some of us don't even get to know ourselves at all our whole lifetime, and it's really awesome.
I noticed like when people call into the radio station, right? When I was small, I remember my grandmama taking me and my cousin James into like school, and we always hear somebody calling the psychic lady on the radio, and they always asking about like love and money, right? So would you say when it comes to like relationships, whether it be from like romantic type relationships or business relationships, would you say somebody's sign, can that play a part in compatibility when it comes to who you do business with or who you love and stuff like that?
Personally, I say no, but astrology Twitter would attack me right now. Is it
So
better
yeah,
now?
you saying astrology Twitter will come for you if you were to say that it will not affect your business or your love life and stuff like that.
Some people might say that, but it really like I don't know, because there are signs that I find myself not getting the best along with, that I'm like, okay, so
Yeah.
it's really about communication and the people and environment. Like this person might have came up a whole different way than you, and that's why y'all have different communications. But then you could also be, they're a Scorpio, we don't get along.
You know what I got out of that? I think people leave out of the equation when there's, astrology means like a lot, almost everything, but so does genetics.
Yes.
And people leave that out of the equation, that they might just be like their mama and daddy. We just not, you know what I mean? You gotta mix the two because we're made of both. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it has to be an equal, like you gotta take that with that. Yes. So because I know people that are my sign, they're nothing like me. I don't even know an Aquarius woman like me, actually. I haven't met one yet.
Aquarius women are my favorite sign. Like I have a thing for Aquarius women. I love them.
Thank you.
I always just click. Like I'm a Leo, so we just like get each other, because Aquarius and Leos are just.
I literally have a show on here and I said, I never can get rid of a Leo. I've been saying that for like 15, 16 years. I can't get rid of a Leo.
There's something between them, the two. Like,
what is that? Guys, girls, the friends, whatever. I won't get. They're not going nowhere. No. They'll come back for me and everything.
Yes.
It's so
literally. I feel that on a spiritual level. Like I have so many Aquarius women who I know will be in my life to the end. Like, and probably I had shared past lives with. Like it be that deep.
Yes.
Yeah. They just get it. Y'all just get it. Like you got, and I think sometimes the sign, like the more I've thought about it and meditated on it, sometimes I feel like the sign you come into in this life and like why like astrology is even relevant, it can be even karmic past life stuff. Like maybe you came into this life to, for whatever reason, for whatever sign, I'm like, I always think, because I'm like, it has to mean something. And I ever since I was a kid, I've believed in astrology. Like, I was like 8 years old, and one of the first books I found in the bookstore was a book on palm reading and astrology, and I begged my mom to buy it for me. I was like, Mom, please, like, this is all I care about.
I need this.
I need this book. And I'm like, we're in the car on a road trip, and I'm like telling everybody their sign. I'm like 8 years old, like probably like really just learning how to read. And I'm like, and you're this way because you were born. And Right. You were born here, so my family's like religious, so they're like, okay.
So with you, you speaking on you doing the crystals and you're making jewelry and stuff like that, and you've done music and you do music. Yes. Where is it where like, you just really finding your purpose? Like when you really can just be free, like where do you find that more what you're doing now? Do you find that in the music? Like where do you find that the most in where I'm free, you're the freest?
That's a very good question. And I feel like also during quarantine, because we all did so much reflected a lot. I just was reading and thinking. And I felt like it really, for me, is all about my intention, which I'm coming into whatever I'm doing. And I realized my purpose, my intention is really to help and heal and make people feel something. So it's like in DJing, it's like I'll be DJing and everybody's dancing. I've never DJ'd something where people are just standing around, because I'm in the intention, like I'm going to go into this gig and we're going to have fun and like we're going to get down and play funk and play rap and play throwback and play everything. Like I never have a boundary no matter what the venue. Like that's what I tell people when they hire me. I'm going to do me, and that's that. So if you're looking for me to play this or play that,
do that.
It's not like, and people, you know, because of the intention.
You can't share your energy like that.
No, because then I feel like I'm selling out. Then I'm like, I'm not living in purpose if I'm here just playing, you know, back to back to back Drake and stuff that like, because it's a club thing, you know?
Right,
like,
right.
Yeah, sure, Drake is good, but it's not everything, you know, or playing songs that degrades lifestyles or degrades women.
Right.
And
how
like,
you say, you know the vibe.
Yeah,
like,
you know the
that's how
vibe.
they say, you know the vibes. You know the vibes. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna come through all kind of music.
Yes, exactly. And it's like,
So,
I love that when people hear something that they never listened to and you hear it hit them and they're like, damn, like not even their genre, but you see it, if that's the healing moment. And with the jewelry too, it's the same, you know, it's like, honestly, like I'm very spiritual and very tapped in. I spend a lot of time meditating and writing and reading. And, you know, I really feel like spirit works through me. Like I'm a vehicle, right? My body's a vehicle, but like I'm, you know, connected to something higher than me. And so with the jewelry, I was like, damn, how can I bring a piece of me to these people who are home now alone, going through their own demons and thoughts that maybe they're not as strong as some of us are, you know? It got very like dark and confusing over quarantine for a little bit, but very like, you know, the government, can't trust them, can't trust the police, can't trust nobody, can't, you know, and we're really trying to figure out like, what is next? What is happening? At the end of the day, it's like we really got to be good with self. And me realizing that, I was
that's
like,
what it taught us.
Like, yes.
When we all realized as one, oh, we can't trust anything. That was I feel like that was like the biggest meaning, like the biggest teaching of all of us to learn that, oh, it's self. It's something. Literally. And I think in everybody's own way, and we've had several shows and talked to several different people, everybody in their own way went through something huge in this quarantine. And it was a universal situation. You know what I mean? So, because people like came out on top with their businesses, they found new things, you know, like you said, you found new things, like, so, and I hear it constantly. So you just understand, like, this was something for us as whoever we are, as whatever beings, humans, whatever, was to kind of like figure out and go on a different wave, because you can only do something that's not of what we are for so long before it like destructs itself. You know what I mean? Literally. And so we can rebuild again on our purpose, you know? And I just believe in that.
I really, that's so well said. That's to the T, exactly. And now it's like the last quarter of the year, like, let's go. Like last 4 months, like what's gonna happen? Like we've all been charging up, and I really like psychically, like the universe has just been like, oh yeah, like people are about to just really release creatively, and you know, like really, I feel like really built some character and some strength of self, you know, and faith. I really feel like realizing you can't trust the people you thought you could trust made people tap in more to their spirituality. Like, damn, maybe I should tap in, you know?
It forced you to look nowhere else but in that mirror, because you know what I'm saying, we
couldn't go nowhere. Shit. We were stuck in the house. Shit, you got no choice but look at yourself after goddamn 2 weeks. You're like, damn.
I know one time I seen, Betty, you spoke of, you like to help others by producing and writing, kind of like Pharrell. It's contrary to being like in front of the camera, but then you spoke on like the Betty Dawl identity, and you spoke about how you want people to feel stimulated, and when they see you on stage, you want them to feel something, because not just what they're hearing, but what they're seeing, from like the wigs to the boots, the outfits, everything. You even wear the platform stuff. But and you even spoke of like public speaking. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wondering, like, where does that feeling come from, where you're torn or conflicted about the spotlight being on you? Because it seems like at sometimes you want the spotlight on you, and at other times you want to step away from it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
very interesting you observe that, because that's something I've been battling too. Because I feel like I used to be very like spotlight, and you know, I'm older. I'm 29. You know, I've really been out here in the.
She's like, I'm 4. No, she's talking like she's like, I'm 50 at this point.
That's how I feel. I'm like, I've I have put these wigs on. My hair is too long to even like. It's like I tried, and I'm like, I'm hot. I'm like, what happened to me?
Right.
You know, it's so funny. But I feel like, you know, I don't even know really what happened. I just feel like sometimes I just, I don't know. I've been super internal the last, like, you know, I'll say last year, I say like a year and a half. I went to Hawaii, and then after Hawaii, I really came back a changed person. I feel like I had a spiritual rebirth there. I had like a lot of things that were happening that I was just like, what's happening to me? And like, you know, a lot of the projects that I was really like all in, like Trap Phone and stuff, like kind of slowly just started to end. And that's just life. Things, they happen and in the end. And then I really started to see like the beauty in being like a part of something, but not the light, not the camera being on me. And I almost that more, because it's cool to see other people kind of just thriving off of something you helped them with, and you don't have to be like, I did that, but you know, because they're doing it, you're just helping them. And I like that.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. It's kind of like, you know, instead of being the vehicle, you know what I'm saying, you could be the gas station. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
That's when we learn how to get rid of the ego.
Period.
When that becomes our lesson. And we like learn how to be a being without that. That's what that comes from. So you just reached a whole new level. That's all it was. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Of your higher self. And you're like,
literally,
I don't need, like, my purpose doesn't have to, it's going to be seen through people. Like you said, how you came on and you're so concerned with bringing it through people and recycling things through people. People don't even care to do that. They're like, oh, you don't know? You know what I mean? So that's dope.
Yeah, it's like, I used to teach these workshops for free in Tampa, like for girls, or guys could come, but it was really for girls. Like, hey, if you want to learn how to DJ, come to this workshop. I will teach you and show you everything I use for free, because knowledge belongs to no one. Like, if we keep knowledge to ourselves, think about what we're putting out into the universe to teach us. If we're like, well, if you teach me, I'm only going to keep it to myself. But no, if you teach me and I share it, there's that recycled energy again. Like, the universe just keeps watering you with more knowledge and more inspiration and wisdom and books. Like, their knowledge comes in so many forms. And you know, I have to be like, why are you teaching everybody your tricks? I'm like, bro, because look at everybody who's not, you know, and think about these girls who, like, they're gonna do it their own way. I'm not gonna go DJ their gig for them. They're gonna learn whatever, but then they're gonna go do it their own way. Like, it's if they're curious, it's part of their path too. And who am I to? I'd rather be the one that helped than the one that hated, you know, and in all circumstances. Because it's literally toxic.
Thanks. That definitely feels better. I don't know about everybody else.
Yeah,
I think sometimes.
I think sometimes with that, with the telling people your secrets. I have friends who have called me personally, like, Betty, you're tripping. I'm like, I'm not tripping, bro. They're like, what if they, you know, what if they're better than you? And I'm like, who cares, bro?
For one, that's weird because you got to think about it. Like, for one, if it's for me, I'm going to be the best at it. Let's put it that way. So it doesn't matter who I share this with. You know what I'm saying? I had a girl that actually, this is just a little shallow example. Girls always hit me up like, what color you did your hair? I tell them to dye. Like, I don't give a fuck. Hey, this is what I use. And they come back, and I've had a couple girls like, I can't get it that color. What happened? I don't know. You know what I mean?
It wasn't meant to be that color on you.
That's just it's just so basic of an example of what's for you is going to be, that bitch going to shine. And if it ain't you, it was due to give to someone else. Because your shit, for one, you'll receive what's supposed to come for you anyways when you have an open mind like that. I used to do nails before I found myself. And I had a lady today. She's like, you don't do nails? How did I'm like, that's not me. That's not me. I just realized it wasn't me. You know what I mean? And I helped girls out. I owned my own nail salon at one point, and I have it. Y'all can have, I'm not in competition with anybody. That's not me. I don't do that.
I've never been competitive at all. And I think that's really like what it has hindered me in some ways, because sometimes I'll just pull back because I'm not going to compete. I always, like, on a mushroom trip long time ago, like, a voice in my head was like, if you try to be better than anything or anyone, that's a low frequency. It's like there's the analogy to be better than, or just to be great. And our words are so powerful. It's like, do I want to be better than, or do I want to be great? I want to be great. You know, it's Alexander the Great, not Alexander the better than.
Better than.
You know, like what?
I like that. I like that.
It's I said words are just very powerful, and that's something I learned over quarantine too. Is sound is so important. What we say and how we say it and where it stems from when we say it. It's like, it made me slow down. And I have a healer who I go to and get readings from, and she's really helped me work through some like old trauma. And she was like, during my birthday reading, she's like, you know, it's strange, like you really haven't said as much as you said in the past online, even though it's been a very active time after quarantine. She's like, I feel like you kind of caged up a little bit, and you need to undo that in the fall. And I was like, you know, like I had to really reflect on what was happening for real for me, instead of get out, everybody's online having an opinion. And I had to really come inside and understand what was happening, because I was reading this book about what we say and how important it is, and the spells we cast every day just by speaking unconsciously.
That's why I call it a spelling bee, because the words are like spells.
Yeah, they are. They really are, you know.
You spoke about what you went through. I seen before you said that at one point you were kind of mad at the universe and God when you had lost your father at 10.
Oh, yes.
That it like changed you. Then 14, you were sent off to a program like Georgia to Montana.
How did I write this somewhere? And I talk about it?
She's like, wait.
I feel like when Nardwar comes out of nowhere and starts knowing all about your life, and you're like, Nardwar.
Right. Like, is this a Men in Black? Like, what the fuck?
But you know, I probably talked about it one day for sure. But it's
you did. Yeah, I take the time to go do the research.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Because I feel like if I'm talking to somebody, sometimes I get exhausted if I feel like, man, I already talked about this. So I take pride when I'm talking to somebody. I want to make sure they're not necessarily regurgitating themselves.
Wow, I love that.
That's why we work good as a duo.
Yeah. You're the only people who have ever interviewed me who know things about me, because usually they just be like, so who are you? And I'm like, okay.
This is awkward.
Right. I'm like, I just be out here. I really don't know. I really don't know.
Now that you asked. Shit. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But with that, because that's like, I lost my pops 2 years ago, and as recent as like a week and a half ago, I had like a nightmare where I'm like in my grown man body, you know what I'm saying, like calling out for my pops, and he ain't responding because it's like he ain't animal, you know what I'm saying. So with you going through that at like 10, then the next 4 years, you know, you had, you know, because you had your moment you mad at God, and you get set off to the program in Montana, and then you have a motto that you were saying you go by now, with like the new choices give you new results. And you say you got to feel shit, you got to go through shit to put the work in. If you wouldn't mind, just speak about those moments going through that, and the changes, like, you know, the Emmy before 10, the Emmy between 10 and 15, and the Emmy now. If you wouldn't mind, just kind of take us through that.
Well, yeah, I feel like, you know, I've had a really not strange, but I have a very different life, you know, from a lot of my peers. I like always had a very like just different life. And I feel like I was adopted at birth, so I've never met my birth parents, which kind of just makes you different from everybody else unless you meet other kids who are adopted, because like everyone looks like their parents. I look nothing like my parents who adopted me. So that always created a very strange relationship between me and my parents, but my dad really always treated me like if I was his own. My mom had her own things really going on. She was just working a lot and just not, you know, different type of person. So when my dad passed, it really like shook me for sure. But yeah, it was a lot, because I was 10 and I had a dream the night before he passed. I had a dream, and a fish came to me in my dream and told me. A fish literally telepathically told me, when you wake up, you know your dad passed in the night. And I was 10, so I was like in my dream, like, what? Wow. And then I woke up and it had happened. So although it was very like devastating, it was kind of also my first experience as a spiritual experience, because I was like, well, that was very different, you know. This is 2001, you know, people aren't really talking about psychic shit at all. Like now everybody kids know about crystals and chakras and stuff, but it was very, you know, I was like, okay. that was strange. And then, like you said, very like mad at the universe. I claimed myself as like atheist. I was like, I believe in nothing. I was like 11 years old, telling people that because
Wow.
because I went to a religious school, so I was like, this shit is fake.
Yeah.
And I, just growing up in Florida, like, I feel like your life can always go so many different directions, and you could really get mixed around with bad people. And I really
Tell me about it.
I
just moved away 3 years ago. It was the best thing I could have ever done in my life.
Yeah.
I was in a really like cycle of like, what the hell? Because Florida I just feel like it just doesn't have any like positive outlet for you. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you weren't raised in like the rich part on the beach somewhere or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard down there. And I have 4 daughters, so it was very important to move them from there, so they didn't have to do those. Have that same cycle as me.
Strange thing, yeah. It's very strange, and I felt like being around those people, I was finding family in those people because in my mind, I'm like, oh, these people are riding for me. Their families are cooking for me. My family wasn't really the family where you eat at the table together. Like I was just spending a lot of time alone, which I got in a lot of trouble, and then I got sent away.
Yeah.
And getting sent away was just like another thing where I was just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, they come in the middle of the night and you don't know they're coming. They wake you up at 2:00 in the morning. They say, hey, you have to come with us. And I'm like, it's the first day of summer, like, fuck you. And they're like, no.
What? No, for real, you gotta go.
You gotta go, and you're in our custody. And I was like, oh my God, like life just gets so real. And before you know it, it's like you're on a plane. And then I went to one program for 10 weeks, which was like in the middle of a forest, and you go backpacking and you live outside for 10 weeks, like in the country, in Georgia. Like it was, and then my mom was like, you still can't come home. My mom at the time was like dating my stepdad, who was like hella evil as well. And he just, he was really in her ear like, oh, send her away, send her away, send her away, because he was low-key an abuser. So when I got older and learned about abusers, and like your abusers separate you from everyone that loves you, so they can take
children and all if they can. Yeah,
they did. And he did. And he got in my mom's brain, and I went to the program in Montana. But it was crazy because all those in that experience, I had more spiritual experiences. I had an experience where literally I heard a voice in my head tell me to move my tent in the middle of the night. I'd already made my tent, flattest ground I could find, whatever. Right before I fall asleep, a voice is like, move your tent. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, no, like I'm already in my sleeping bag.
Right.
Voice, right?
I don't feel like doing that.
It's like, move your tent, move your tent. So I was like, all right, whatever. And like, I even feel like the force that moved it wasn't even me, because I can, and as a kid, you're lazy. You're like, shut up, like, I don't want to do this. Move my tent. Come to find out, middle of the night, a tree got struck by lightning, and the tree that got struck by lightning was the tree that my tent was on before, and the tree had fallen right where my tent was. On my life. I
got the chills hurt.
And that was that whole day I sat in silence. I didn't even know what to say or what to think. I had just turned 15. Like, I was
experiencing that as a kid. It's like
in the middle of the forest. I'm like, what the hell is happening? Like, I'm like, like and it was hard because there was not really anyone you could talk to about this type of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It was hard. It was. And then,
nobody would identify with it either.
Yeah, you don't even know how to explain what's happening. And it was, and then I went to the other program, and I was very defiant, was in trouble until I finally like got it. I hated being told what to do. I just always hated that my whole life. Like, I just wanted to do, like, I just knew I didn't know what I wanted.
Was it one of those things where you're like almost smarter than the adults? Because I went through that.
That way, but
went through that.
Yeah. Like, I was 14 with my own cell phone plan. Like, I had finessed, like, Metro to, like, sign me over a phone that I, like, I was like, very smart. My mom, like, took my cell phone away, and then when she sent me away and found my other phone, she's just like, something's wrong with you. Like,
right.
Just no telling me no. And I feel like, in a way, maybe it was good I got sent away, because that untamed is very dangerous. Like, I could have been in dangerous situations, growing up in Florida, like,
for sure.
Stolen cars, I've been in situations where people are breaking into houses, and where, like, I was just there because these are my people, but necessarily, that's not my truth, obviously. but I was so easily influenced and so ready to just jump. So brave, because I hadn't really learned, like, I wasn't scared to lose anything, you know?
You probably, you know what, you probably felt like you had nothing to lose.
Exactly. And that way I was just like, whatever. And, you know, that was like a thing until after my 18th birthday, because, you know, my mom passed when I was 17. And so that was another hit after the program. And I was just like, what's happening? Like, what is happening? What is actually happening? Because I don't understand. And then my stepdad's like, yeah, you got to figure out something. And then I was just out in the world, 17, after going through all this stuff, no parents, no bread.
I was ready to go.
Yeah.
17, ready to go.
Like,
all right, let me go. Let me figure this shit out.
Right. Because no one can tell me, and I had to learn a lot of hard lessons. Like I've learned a lot of fucking stuff that no one could tell me, even though part of me in the moment wished that I would have listened, but I just had to learn those lessons so I could become, you know?
Yeah. You had to go. It's something, I feel like that's like God taking us on the scenic route. It's something you got to see.
Wow, I love that.
Because it's like, because he about to take you somewhere, and it's like, you got to know why it don't make sense to double back. Or it might be like, man, it's flashy, but there's a lot of fireworks going on, this, that, and the third, and you like, damn.
Because when you think back,
if you done already been over there, you know, like, nah, it's that bullshit over there.
Like what you learned today, if you think back, could I really had known that?
Right.
You're right.
Nothing around you. My mom wasn't telling me this. My dad, you know what I mean? Like, it's so much. You can look back and be like, but there was nothing around that could have told me what I know today. So it's like, there's gotta be a reason why I went through what I went through. Has to be a reason. You know what I mean? Like, and what I appreciate is that I find myself like, it's weird because it's like I don't meet anybody my age anymore. I'm like old by myself. It's weird.
But you know what? Because you're probably not that age. Because the age that you are, like those numbers, it's like Prince. You know, like Prince, like my homeboys pick on me sometimes. My homeboy Rich always fucking with me. He'll be like, oh, it's your birthday. I know you don't celebrate it. Because I told him,
I don't celebrate mine either.
It's like, look at Prince. Like when Prince say, like, you know, the time, the clock shit is kind of like an illusion. That shit ain't real. Yeah. I mean, that's a whole another rabbit hole we can go down. But I believe a lot of us are. You know, you even heard Betty speak on like past lives and things like that. Like,
I believe in. Listen, I have Nefertiti on me for a reason. I don't tell everybody why, but
because you know. There's a piece of hers and a piece of you because of something that resonates.
For sure. And it's so odd the way I connect to it. I can't even explain it in words. I just know what it feels like. But what I was saying was like, I just appreciate the fact that when I do meet people that are younger than me, I always just want to reassure them, like, if we're like vibing right now and I'm 35, like, you doing good. you doing good because I just got here. Okay. I mean, I'm just getting here the last 3 years where I'm finally realizing like, oh, all right. Okay.
Y'all probably the same age. Like in that and whatever like scalable.
Yeah, but see, she feel older. I feel younger.
But then I'm in LA and everyone's like, man, you're like 19. And I'm like, 19? Like, if only I was this calm at 19. Like, 19, I would not be sitting here just chilling. Like, Hell 19, nah. I'm on top of a bar pouring shots in people's mouths.
Definitely.
Crazy.
Definitely.
You know, so I'm very grateful. Like, I've really enjoyed the aging process, even though, like, I'm only 29. I love it. Like, I love that I'm not as mean to myself in my head as I once was. I used to be way more cruel, way more hard on myself.
So hard.
So hard. And now I'm just like, no, girl, you're doing your best. You know?
Yeah,
like,
you finally give yourself that unconditional.
Yes. It's that self-love shit. When you start tapping into that and you start learning that, and it's like, oh my God. Oh my God. That was like the best thing that could ever happen to me.
So I noticed you said that you had been adopted, Betty, and ironically, the last tweet, like right before we got on, that YesJulz put up was asking.
And because of that, do you speak to your fans? Talk to me. That's so funny.
You know what I'm saying? And she asked, like, any of you guys adopted? Do y'all speak to your birth parents or not? And I know you and her have a rapport, you know what I'm saying, have a dialogue, and you did like the 1 a.m. fest, I believe.
Yeah.
So is that like how if you wouldn't mind just speaking on how you and her developed your relationship, because she was adopted as well.
Yeah, we've done, you know, she she put me on a lineup in 2016, which was a pretty big lineup in Tampa. Playboy Cardi was there. Rob Banks was there. It was very crazy. Shake performed. So she put me on the lineup. It was great. And we just had her team has really her team really fucks with me. So they're always like hitting me up. I live in Miami now, so she lives here too. And we've actually like ran to each other at the beach a couple times. But yeah, we've talked a little bit about birth stuff before, but yeah, I don't know. It's politics, I guess. We do a lot of business together, and she's, I really appreciate that she's used her platform to help me out for sure.
Yeah.
And that's so funny because like how we were speaking on with people with astrology and shit like that, like you and her do business together, and it's like ironically y'all both kind of went through some of the same shit.
Yeah, true. True. I feel, me and Jules are very different people, I think, but
I can already feel that just through the conversation. You guys are more different than people think you are, even with the comparisons. It's like
we're different people, but I really respect Jules' journey, and I respect that she does use her platform to help. I do think that's nice. I feel like a lot, she's really showed up for giving back, and I really I respect
when it
that.
comes down to business, she's been able to okay.
She holds it down, and I think she does try to give back, and people have, everybody's has times they put their foot in their mouth type shit.
Right.
So that's that on that, but at the end of the day, it's like actions also speak too. So this person has also, fed the homeless.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's whatever, someone, you just take what you get out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's it.
And it's almost some bravery in that. It's some bravery in, speaking out loud and allowing yourself to be that vulnerable.
Exactly.
I'm a Kanye fan, so
me too. I love Kanye. Kanye needs a hug from me.
Yeah.
Kanye needs this healing.
Dang, you know what? I can see that.
I've had dreams, which is really weird. I've had dreams. I had a really, really weird dream once. This is really random. But I had a dream once that was so vivid that Kim called me and was like, I need you to come to the ranch. I need you to see Kanye. He hasn't smiled or laughed in months. And so I was older in the dream. And in the dream, when I pulled up to the ranch, Kanye was like an old man. So I must have been an older woman. I was like a shaman. And he had Parkinson's and he couldn't stop shaking. It was so weird, but it was Kanye as an old man. And I remember walking into the studio and I just held Kanye and I was just holding him in this dream and filling him up with light. It was very, I feel for Kanye. I feel like they really MK Ultra Kanye. So I really empathize and I feel bad,
Yeah. That's it's like watching someone be trapped and you can't save them and you can't do anything for them. It's like, what do? You know what I mean?
Right. And that's the scary part about being powerful. You have to be careful if you say too much. You have to be careful if you're an influencer. My brother told that to me young, because when I first did shrooms, I was I was 17, 18. I made this video on YouTube. People that thought I had all these revelations.
He's like, sis, don't have them motherfuckers not.
Literally, my brother's in the Navy. He's like, you can't be putting videos like that on YouTube.
That's like my brother. He's in the military, and he just tells me leave him out of all my mess. So okay, cool.
I know. No,
because I'm a mess. So I speak my mind. So yeah, I'm gonna just leave you out of it. That works because I'm not
right.
But I do though to a certain extent though. I can agree to that because. Even me, I talk a lot. I've talked more since the quarantining and come out to who I am because I was very loner, shy, awkward child. And so I finally okay, let me be me and start talking and da-da-da. But still I talk and I reach a lot of people, but I still talk in a way that even this kind of conversation I can't have with everybody. I don't just get on and be so
it's almost like it gotta be a code.
Night. I think it's a code I don't do
thing.
that. So
it's a code thing because I feel like a lot of times.
So I found a balance to reach where I can reach without having to just put all of what I do believe in and do in it.
Yes.
So and it was weird how I do it, because I mean, even like if you ever like kind of it's just weird. Like I'll be able to connect, hit everybody, and I don't gotta even bring you in, but it's still a real part of me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's
because people receive things differently. Everyone
Yeah.
like they'll receive it in their own way, and sometimes if you're too too much about it, it can scare people, and the light can be blinding. Someone said that we were having a spiritual conversation.
I never thought of it like that.
And they were like, light can be blinding, and I was like, yo, you just blew my mind, because it's true. When you come to full force, people just get overwhelmed, and their darkness could get overwhelmed, and that's a defense mechanism.
So this is me. This is me telling you
right there. I'm using
my
that.
My boy MP. I'm telling you, and this is not in a dream. He need a hug from you, because he's like that. Like he'll be like some of the stuff that he's the type that'll text me stuff sometimes, and I'm like, all right, I read it, delete it, because it'd be like too woke, and I'd be like, bro, and I'd be telling him, and I'd be like, hey, this is blinded. And he'll be like, no, he'll be like, that's only to you. That's only to you. I'm only talking to you like that. I'm like, but then he'll be like, man, I don't get how people don't get this. I'm like, bro, because everybody isn't at that level that you are at.
Everybody, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got a cousin, Cedrum. He's telling me when I was a kid, because I used to be like that sometimes. He used to be like, Alex, you got to graduate these niggas. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, because when you graduate, you go to another level of understanding. Mm-hmm. So when you try to give somebody too much at once, you know what I'm saying?
Overload.
They're going to fail.
Yeah.
You know you're not setting them up for success.
When it comes down to like deeper stuff, like what we're talking about, me personally, because like when I appreciated you though, because I appreciate everybody in their own way. When you came on, you're like, I'm going to be, I'm going to transfer this. And I'm the person that's like, if you're not already even in the vicinity of consciousness, I'm not going to wake you. I'm not going to be the one that, hey, can you wake up?
Right.
That's not me. Because I don't have time for you to reject me. I don't have time for you to make it awkward. I'm already awkward. Well, the world has made it seem that this is awkward. So I don't got time for that, because people are, like I said, there's people walking around that will never know who they are, let alone themselves. So it do that all their life and go and pass on and go to the next life like that. You know what I mean? And that's why and I keep like attracting, because that's why I just know where I'm at. Like even having this show is because literally I just had a good show even right before this too. Like with someone, you start attracting those people. You know what I mean?
Yes, and that's the law of attraction, really true. It's attracting the tribe. Yeah. That happened to me in LA the whole trip. Like I couldn't believe the people that I just ended up being around. And I was like, and we were in a legendary place. We were at Shangri-La, which is like huge. I mean, anybody who like Jesus was mixed there. I mean, this place is where people have been going to since the 70s in Malibu to like mix and master. Rick Rubin, it's his place. Okay. And so we ended up there because of just because. And I was like, I was just in that room like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I'm having that
at that very moment.
In that very moment. And then Rex just turns to me and he's like, I feel like you really belong in these environments. And I'm like, this is a legend. And I'm like, yeah, like me too. Like, it's just like, and I'm in my mind, I'm just like, mind you, we partied all night. Like we got there like 4:35 in the morning. Then we were up there watching the sun come up. And I'm like, yo, I'm at Shangri-La. Like legends have been sitting on this tree since the 70s. And that was for me something that I had to like.
I gotta look that up. I don't know anything about that. I need to.
On Hulu, there's a documentary about it. It's called Shangri-La, and it talks all about like Rick Rubin and like when Rick Rubin is very important to the culture.
He pretty much one of the founders.
Grandfather.
This is why
like with Def Jam, like Rick Rubin like drew the logo. You know what I'm saying? Like he started it all. He's influential to Run DMC. Like he had his hands, on a lot of stuff that we grew up on.
This is why like learning never ends.
Yes.
Never ends.
Never.
As old as I'm old. I'm the oldest person in here and I don't know. And I'm like, but that's some good information. I can't wait to I'm going to look up that and on Hulu.
The documentary is amazing. It's like 4 episodes. I think each episode's an hour and it's about Shangri-La and it talks about Rick Rubin too, and it was so good. I watched it twice and I cried the first time because it was so inspiring. Like This is what it's literally like a studio where people just come in and jam, and they just make just real music from a real place. And like, I love it. I when I get back into making music, like whenever that time comes, like I know I always will have that. Like I'm always going to be producing. I'm always writing music, even if I'm not putting out music. I'm always writing songs because it's fun. But I know, like, whenever I want, that's the environment that I need to make music in. It's the environment where it's like you can just do, and there's no right or wrong way, and it's not all digital. You know, there's instruments and sounds, and you know, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. The documentary, I'm like, I'll watch
it since the 70s. I mean, that place has to hold.
It's an energy. It's an energy.
Yeah, that has to hold so much. Like
I'm talking about, like Stevie Nicks was there. Stevie Nicks.
That's crazy. There's something about that place. It's like
when I got there, I was like, my heart was just like vibrating. And I was like, yo, and I was with my sister, and she's younger, so she doesn't really, you know, Jen's like, I saw this on the Lady Gaga documentary. I was like, oh, it's bigger than Lady Gaga. Like, this is
like, damn Lady Gaga right now.
I know. I'm like, yes, Lady Gaga's been here, but damn, like, so, you know, it's like
way deeper than that.
It's so deep. And I'm like, this is just like, it's that moment where you're like, just because too, I watched the documentary this time last year, and then that's just like the law of attraction. Like, I'm manifesting that. Yeah. In a weird way, I did, because I'm always like, yo, Rick Rubin's my dad, because he's like barefoot meditating the whole time, and I'm like, yo, like I feel you, you know, like Kid Cudi be there. It's just like people who really inspire me, like the real people who've inspired me, like real for real, because I never was a kid who had posters on their wall. Like I never idolized people. I was never that kid. I was always just like, human is a human is a human. Like I don't know, like. But like Kid Cudi and MIA, those are the two people that like I could say that two people really.
You got an MIA tattoo, right?
I do. I have her on my leg, and that was the weird thing is like we end up in this studio with Rex Kudo, who is literally like him and I be chilling, and I'm like, this is the guy that's turning to me like, yeah, you know, like I feel like you really belong to me.
And I know that shit was crazy.
I didn't know what to say, you know. I'm just like quiet because it's just like that full circle. And then we were talking about music. And I'm like, yeah, you know, like MIA is amazing because he brought up MIA somehow, and I was like, yeah, like she's so dope. Like between her and Kid Cudi, and he turned around, he's like, those are my two favorite artists. I was like, those are my two favorite artists. And we were just like bonding. He's like, yeah, I'm about to get MIA and Cudi on a song. And I'm just like, if you do that, I will literally cry. Like. But just the fact that it's happening so close, I'm like, yo, there's no boundary.
Degrees of separation.
No limit. There's no limit.
Yeah.
There is no limit.
No one is greater than you. No one is nothing. It's just like we just are all just a part of something that's great, you know?
Yeah. I noticed you say like with music, right? Because I do music as well. And a lot of times I can be anywhere. And I'll run to like the nearest like bathroom or run in my car if I'm somewhere to just get the note in there because it's like, okay, it's in my head. Let me use my voice notes. So you spoke about how you'll be in the shower and it'll come to you. You just grab your phone and you like right there. So you say it go from melody, beat, mood, feelings, and words, right? If you wouldn't mind, speak on times where is it ever a time where the words or the feelings come to you first and you kind of do it that way?
Yeah, I've written songs all types of ways. I mean, I will watch a movie and I'll just think about the character, and then I'll just like write from the character's point of view. So I've written a lot of songs just the words first, or like the movie will inspire me, which will give me a feeling, and then I'll be like, damn, like I need to transform this feeling. Like this movie just made me feel something that I never experienced personally, but I feel like I did just experience because I watched this movie.
Right.
Your music has an anthemic feel to it, so I can see that because when I hear your music, I hear like that. It's like that, like somebody coming to the top of the mountain. You know what I'm saying? Like that scene. Like you know what I'm talking about? Like like somebody about to come like fuck some shit up, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? They not just like fierce. You know what I'm saying? They got like, you know, that bravado, that confidence with it too, though.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like
moment that you just been waiting for.
Yeah.
Right.
Like when do you have somebody that you would like to work with as far as like writing? Is there anyone that you be like, man, I know I could pen something for them based on, you know what I'm saying, the chord progressions I hear, like, man, I could really take their sound to another level.
I feel like I have that thought all the time when I'm hear music.
Yeah,
but you know what I'm saying? I was so like ignorant to the fact that like people didn't write their own music, or I didn't really realize that until like recently, like last couple of years, like that people aren't even doing their own melodies. Because I've always did my melody, and that was just because I had to, because I was just like, I had to let it out, so that was it. And then so when I learned that there are whole ass teams inside of studios telling artists what to do and how to do it, I was like, this might be my calling, because I'm all the time just thinking like, if I could
I didn't know y'all need me.
Wait a minute. And then I'm like, they're like, yo, this is cool. Like, I don't even have to perform this song, and like I could still be a part of it, you know? Like, that's cool, because, you know, performing is a lot, and I like it, but I loved it in moments, but I mean, I like the way I see myself performing is not how I was performing. I feel like I would need like a whole ass atmospheric stage, and I could be sitting and really tapped in, as opposed to like running around and being out of breath. Like,
you just sitting there like, and you got to watch me in my world.
Yes, and that was something that I'm still cultivating, which is why I'm like, music, you know, it'll come.
You might still be, you could definitely, because there's
gonna be. You know what? MIA dropped Paper Planes when she was 29. Paper Planes. That song was huge, and she was my age. Huge. And she inspired me before that, and she was probably like 25 when she made that other album. So I really realized age is like whatever, because it is state, you know, like
it's about the vibration.
It really is.
Like I saw you say the only way you'll sign with a label, like you were saying, like they got to come with maybe like $3 million. Like
I can't believe you found
the conversation.
All things I said. Because I know I said that, because I remember being like, nah, like I need like $3 million
because
me to sign my Betty Dawl over to anybody, because I built an empire alone. This is Betty Dawl was. I have people even telling me before, like, oh, Betty Dawl's not marketable. When I first had the thing, they're like, what? This? Oh, yes. You should do this. You should do that. You shouldn't dress like this, because I've been trippy. Like, that's just been my aesthetic.
Be trippy.
It's like.
Be trippy.
But now it's cool to be trippy. Like, in 2009, it wasn't very cool.
You're right. I didn't think about the timing. You're right.
Timing.
Now everybody's like,
because everyone's like, microdose. And I'm like, like microdose. I went to LA, and they had like these chocolate bars, because, you know, I sell tea. I do mushroom tea for like, I've been doing it for like 8 years, like low key. Like, you know, everybody knows me as the shroom queen. Like, I've really been out here, you know, healing the masses.
Is that the same thing like ayahuasca? Or
no, ayahuasca
is different, right?
It's very different. It's because shrooms, you can just eat it, which most people, that's like how they ingest it. But I was like, I got to figure out how to make this work for me, because shrooms was making, when I would eat it, it'd make my stomach upset. So I started making tea blends with the mushrooms in it.
Okay.
And
my friend is begging me to do the ayahuasca thing with her, and I'm like,
girl, yes, but make sure there's a shaman. Make sure you're somewhere.
You gotta be in the right environment.
Yeah, she's done all her research and all that stuff. It's just that like, because we're weird. We always say she's the witch, I'm the alien. And we just
so freaking funny, because
y'all need some t-shirts to say that.
We work together, but I'm like, me being an alien, I'm like,
because girl,
I've heard.
I haven't done it, because I really want to do it like in South America on some like.
That's where,
shaman. Like if I'm purged, I feel safe, because like I've tripped a lot in life, and that's the one thing is like, I'm going to trip the best if I'm in a safe environment. And ayahuasca is like mushroom on LSD, on, you know, on everything. Like
just go to a whole nother planet.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
It's nothing like the human experience. You know, you're like, am I human? You know? Did I leave my body? Did I die? Like,
real.
I smoked DMT, which is like the sister of ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And I did it on accident, because if you would have told me that
you did it on accident.
Now, you know, I feel like that's God's way of being like, no, you got some shit I need you to see. And I'm like,
tripping out that DMT, huh?
Lord, can't unsee that. can't unsee those truths.
Somebody can't unsee that. Ooh, that's that. Ooh.
It
Now,
was
see,
a lot.
this is the thing.
I hit it and I was like, that's not weed. And poof, I left my body. And the first thought I had, I was like, I died. Like, that's the only explanation that happened. I was like, I'm dead. Because I'm flying through space right now. I'm not a physical body. I'm a light being. And, you know, after that, it was traumatizing because it was on accident because I had accepted death.
I guess so, yeah.
Because I was like, oh, I died. I was like, you died. I was like, damn, I died. And it was so cool how, like, I feel like I got a glimpse, like, we really do just accept death. Like, there's nothing scary or bad or whatever about death. Death is just a word. Like,
yeah.
I accepted it so quickly, and I was like, on to the next. Like, I was just flying through space. And then when I came back is when it was, oh, hold the fuck up. What just happened to me? Like,
yeah, that's when you could have spazzed.
Yeah, I was like, yo, like I need to go lay down. I need to go to sleep. Like,
So how long were you? I'm sorry, I don't mean to get, but how long were you out with that? Like,
it felt like 20 minutes, but I guess it had only been like 5. But like, it felt like I was gone for a long time. Yeah, but it was just quick. And I mean, they call it blasting off. Like sometimes you can smoke DMT and you won't blast. But I had been drinking beer that night. Like I was just already kind of loose. I think I wasn't thinking I'm smoking DMT. Sometimes people will overthink it. And if you have too much fear, DMT's like, you're not ready for this journey. Like you can't come into this building with fear. Like this is it's a
new dimension.
And I'm very scary to everything. Like I don't even like taking Tylenol. So I'm the one that I know that like, don't do that if you're not ready for something like that. You know what I mean? And but the only thing with me, I'm that weird person that I don't remember my childhood, like for real. I don't remember my teachers. I know like parts and vision and like picture of my childhood. And I don't tell everybody that. That's something that I just keep myself, but it's a real thing. I can't remember everything to save my life. It's just moments or things that someone's told me I went through. So I'll be like, yeah, I did this when I was a kid. So my mom told me that or some shit like that, but I don't remember a lot. And it happened, I think 5th grade. And that's when I lost,
so it happened early.
Yeah, it happened early. And to this day, I just don't, before middle school, I really don't remember too much. So it's really weird. But that's the only thing that ever like tempted me. Like, do I need to go back, or is there a reason why I'm not remembering fully?
I wish it was the way we could all like take that journey to see everything with us, because I think it'll explain so much about like now.
Mm-hmm.
I think a little bit I do remember though. It explains enough. So. So it ain't like I don't remember nothing, you know what I'm saying? So I've been through enough where I'm like, you know, it was just fucked up. So, you know, there's really no need to going back.
It's on the way. Hey, you can only go up from here.
If I see even details of what I already know, I'm good. Probably that was best. That was best. Somebody took my memory from me.
See, but the thing with Betty, the reason I like dove in so much beyond you just being a guest, I do music, and what I was gathering was like, damn, it's packaged already. So when you look at artist development now is probably different than it was back in the day, because it's more than just the music, it's a whole package. So a lot of the albums that are coming out, they're bundled with different merch items. So you take from your tea to your crystals, all this different stuff. All I see is, okay, you take all those products, you take the visual experience when it comes to you just speaking about it, that's a whole package, and it's a bundle. So it's like with the music comes this, comes this, comes this, comes this.
Yeah.
And I feel like somebody could present it that way, and that's where somebody could get their ROI off, say like that 3 million or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because sonically, you have a crossover sound. You know what I'm saying? Like sonically, and I hope you don't feel a way about me comparing to another act, but just sonically, it makes me think of a lot of what they're doing with Doja Cat right now. Like her sound is anthemic. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, damn. I'm like, because I wasn't sure. As I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, I don't know how far the music thing is and how much that's something that you lock in with. But I'm telling you, it's a way for you to do that music thing and lock everything else in with it. It's a total package. I think you could definitely do
that would be, amazing. I feel like I really just have to find something that's true to me. I love Doja Cat, and I love women who sing about empowering themselves in that way. It's like what has been different for me and difficult in the industry, because I've had people offer me contracts and stuff before, but there's always this this nag because I'm like, I'm not gonna be sexual for y'all. Like, I'm sexual in a spiritual way, but it's really hard to be in the industry and be like, I'm not gonna be over here showing my ass because that's just not me, because that's never been me. And that's been the conflict,
it's
is
not
like,
for everybody.
it's not for everybody. And I love it. Like, you know, I would be in, you know, I have a lot of friends who are dancers. I would be in the strip club chilling.
Right.
Like, those are places, environments where I'm comfortable, but not where it could never be me because of like, I'm uncomfortable in that way.
Yeah.
You know, so it's been like, I feel like if I could really find someone, you know, who was like, I really want it to be something spiritual, you know, like where we're just, you know, pushing something that's going to elevate people, and elevate women and elevate children. I feel like that's really my demographic, is the younger kids. And maybe that's why it's really taken me a long time to really pop off in that way.
No, it'll work.
Because they're still growing. They're still growing. Things are still.
You be one.
Kids love trap phone. Like, it's so weird. Like, my friends will send me videos of their babies, like knowing every word to like.
Right.
You and Jordan got a good chemistry.
These kids nowadays, they're definitely like on the wave of the change.
Yes. And that's
like
really,
there's kids nowadays that are like starting out being vegan and type shit like that. You know what I mean? They already know.
Vegan. Yes, meditating, knowing what chakras are, like.
Yeah.
It's a lane, man. If I get to that end before you, don't be shocked if you get a call from me. It's a lane, because I see it. It's like a dark web. It's like dark web music. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kids that will like, they you got the type of sound and the lifestyle. You have kids wanting to fight other kids about, oh, you're not up on this. You don't understand this. And then what'll happen is they'll take so much pride in it. You be the one winning awards and going platinum. Be like, how the fuck is she going platinum and winning these awards? I never seen the video. I never heard it on the radio. Well, because it's not meant to be there. But it's a whole other group of kids.
Experience, you know.
I see with you, like, I think, like you said, it's an experience, and we're here experiencing different things. But with you, I just kind of feel like that sense of your purpose is always going to be done. Like,
yes.
You don't have to,
no
like,
matter what. Like, if I'm in the room, I'm walking in purpose. That's like,
that's where I see, like, it's not, for me, it's not gonna matter, because that's more of a worldly human thing, you know what I mean? Like, okay,
like, I do need on the line. Like, Pharrell's calling me, like, yo, get Betty Dawl. Like, I need her energy in the studio while we work on this album.
That's you've already done your work. You're doing your work
by being there, just by being there and like having an opinion and like being in that studio, like just being in the environments where like my opinion's respected.
In your purpose from now to the rest of your time here. You will be walking in your purpose at every moment, down to even this show.
Period.
You know what I mean?
What it is, like, I love that this shows.
You're already a platinum, whatever, a platinum being. We ain't gotta be platinum around here.
You claiming it. First thing you said I'm an entrepreneur, and that's Pharrell's latest single. So see.
Oh, that's true.
You manifested it.
You're true. That's true. No, Pharrell is just an inspiration, and I just want to work. Like, I want to do everything. Like, I want no limit. Like, I would be in movies too if only I could play the character that I am in real life. Like, if I could be that, like, spiritual guru, like, friend in a movie, like, I would play that role too. Like, in any way that I can transmute this energy. Yeah, that's just my purpose. Like how you said. And it was so crazy. I got this reading. I got a past life reading, which I never had one before. This girl, like, my friend was like swearing on this girl. She's like, you have to have a reading with her. So I got a reading. It's like an Akasha reading. And Akashic records are like the records of past, present, future. Like, it gets deep. Mm-hmm. So I did my reading with her, and she knew nothing about me. This woman does not have social media. This is an old Puerto Rican woman, like, witch.
Right.
Witch. She don't know. She be knowing because she don't know.
Right.
So she was like, you know, she's laughing on the reading, and she's like, man, she's like, you just must be really good at everything you do. Yeah. And I was like, well, what do you mean? She's like, well, your guides are just telling me that you're an alchemist. Like, you take energy and you transmute it. Even if you don't know you're doing it, you being in the room transmutes the energy.
That's why I didn't mean to interrupt, but I had to say my piece with you. Like, no, this girl is going to walk around every day, all day, doing what she's supposed to do. You know what I mean?
And she changed my life. It's crazy that you said that, because she said that. And when she said it, it clicked for me. And I needed that reading because I was in a place where, you know, like my boyfriend and my ex-boyfriend, we just broke up this week, and it was like whatever, because I'm very Aquarius in a way. I can be detached. I'm like, I've lost so much that I'm like, let's go. Like, if it's not for me, it's not for me.
Yeah, because you're obviously in the way of something. So go ahead and move.
And that's what was happening. And so, like, I was in this weird place. Yes, because it was like this stagnant energy. And she was trying to tell me it.
Yeah.
But I didn't really hear it because she wasn't saying it directly.
Yeah.
But then and that reading was like 3 months ago. And I still reflect on the things she says, because it was like so powerful and profound that she would even know those things. Because the type of reading it is, it's literally like your guides are speaking through her to you. So she was telling me things that I wrote in my notebook that nobody could know. And she's like, she'll just say a phrase, and I'm just like, I was just crying.
Oh,
like,
yeah. That's me.
I'm just
bawling.
Yeah, you feel like I'm not alone, and I'm not crazy, and I'm doing what I have to do. Because sometimes you're just like, for me, like going back to the time too where people were judging me, people didn't understand what I was doing. That's fine. The wigs, the crazy looks, like all this shit that kind of is popular now, which is dope. People were kind of always like, the fuck, like you're on some weird shit. I'm like, this is just how I feel, you know? Yeah. So there was a part where I really felt isolated and I felt uncool, and I was like, I'm never gonna, it got very like insecure. And then finally I realized, like, I'm on my own path, and like I might just be on my own. It might be a little bit ahead of the curve sometimes, you know, and I have to accept that my purpose is different. Because I would see people like blow up overnight and be so like bummed, because I'm like, damn, I feel like I'm writing real music, that I'm writing about real things, and that it doesn't matter, but it's just the timing, you know? It's
like that Kanye line, nigga, I'm having a nervous breakdown, like, man, these niggas that much better than me, you know what I'm saying?
Literally. Or when Andre was like, I was under the impression that people were writing their own shit, and he was like, have I been working too hard? And I was like, yo, like, that's really how I felt, because there are whole ass teams developing girls, and me, I'm like, I feel like a whole ass team in one person.
You good. Trust me. You good. The longer it take to build it, the longer it take for it to fall apart. My man, Tuck Taylor, shout out to him. He the one.
You know what? That's very true. And that's like an overnight cash is overnight gone. Like, I really.
Exactly. Golly.
We thank you so much for your time, man.
Yes,
like this is like a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Because you pretty much could be getting more rest. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you just came back from LA. Something we ask every guest to do on Pretty Lies or Ugly Truths is shout out the 5 people that have that impact on them. Because, you know, they say we are some of the 5 people that we are around to communicate with the most. So if you shout out those 5 people that, you know, play the biggest part in reflection of what we see from you.
Okay. Oof. I got to really think about this one, because I'm like, my friends are going to listen to this and be like, why you didn't shout me out?
If you got to go past 5, you can.
No, okay, well, let's see. My first influence. You know, I really feel I feel like definitely my friends, my immediate friends, Kay Potts, and then the Florida Witch and Millie, like those 3 girls really like are a huge piece of me, just because like they really were good friends to me, and like I knew what it was like to have good friends, how to love and like really communicate with other women, and that changed my life.
Wow.
Because I was like, you know, real friends, like this is a real thing, like there's no superficial shit, you know. And my sister Genesis, these are just people who know how to love me, and I really realized that like that really matters, you know.
It's everything.
And, there's just so many, like all of my friends really like all my girlfriends, like they just developed me, and they say that about me, but I'm like, yo, like it's just that equal energy exchange.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be who I am without Tampa, you know. I'll just say Tampa in general as the whole city, because I really ride for the city. Like the city, like all the events, all the artists, like everybody in that city doing their own unique thing has inspired me in a way that like I wouldn't be Betty Dawl without that. Like, I really wouldn't. Wouldn't. This is that you're a product of your environment. Yeah. And I was out in these streets.
Right.
I was out at these shows. I was out at the club. I was out, you know, everywhere. I was just like, and I love people, you know. So yeah, I guess that's what I'll say.
That's dope.
Well, there's no such thing as a shameful plug. You can go ahead, Any hashtag, @ website, whatever somebody need to look up to be able to invest and spend money with you and what you got to put out to the world, your information, go ahead and shout that out so that way people know how to get in contact with you.
Okay. So Betty Dawl, basically on Instagram, I feel like right now I'm working on a Patreon because I know that's really the wave right now is like, how can I, really make Betty Dawl a business and also inspire my friends to make themselves a business so we could all put money in each other's pot. So that's like my thing right now. So Betty Dawl on Instagram, soon to be Betty Dawl on Patreon, and everything's just found through there for now. I had a website, but it was just too much work, so I said, "Fuck this!" Like, it's just a lot. It's a lot. That's the one thing I'm like, I don't got time for this. Like,
yeah, when you free like that though, you like, man, listen.
Literally,
I don't do what I feel like doing. So
literally, I need to be the creative. Like, I don't want to do all this extra shit.
Right.
And that's Dawl, DAWL for people that's watching.
DAWL, yes, DAWL. Love, you know.